Welcome to WPMAs.com. In this video, I will show you how to speed up your WordPress website. First, let me show you the website we will optimize today. This website is built using Bricks Builder. The process I show in this video will be easy to implement as I will explain everything step by step. Here is the hero section, process feature section, service section, YouTube video, blog posts, testimonial area, subscription form, and footer. Before optimizing the website, let's look at one of the most important factors, the bloat that comes with the themes and page builders. To demonstrate this, I created 6 testing sites. Let me show you the sites. To keep the comparison fair, all the sites setups are the same except for the themes and page builders. Let's start with this site. Here I will show you how to check the assets loaded on the website. Right-click on the page and click on Inspect. Here is the Dev tool. We must click on the Network tab to check the assets loaded on this website. When optimizing a website, it is important to clear the cache and then load the page so that we can see what assets are loaded, file size, etc. If you are on a Windows machine, you must click Ctrl, Shift and R. If you are on a Mac, you must click Command, Shift and R. As you can see, the page loaded without cache. And here are the assets loaded on this website. If the page is not loaded from the cache, you will see the file size under the Size tab. Otherwise, you will see the cache instead of the file size. The total number of assets loaded on this page is 15. And the total page size is 108 KB. We must click the Doc tab to filter the website's HTML file. And the HTML file on this page is 10.1 KB. Next, if we click the CSS tab, we will see all the style sheets loaded on this website. On this page, the total CSS size is 15.8 KB. Next is the JS tab. Here we will see the JS files. On this page, 8 JavaScript files are loading and the JS files are 82 KB. Next is the Fonts tab. Here you will see the fonts and font icon libraries. On this page, we are not using any external fonts or font icon libraries. Hence, we are not seeing any files. Next, let's test the Divi site. Right-click on the page and click on Inspect. Here we must click the Network tab and refresh the page. To refresh the page, you must click Ctrl Shift R on a Windows machine or Command Shift R on a Mac. As we can see, the page loaded without cache. This is the HTML file, which is 6.7 KB in size. 4 style sheets, 4 JavaScript files, and 1 font icon library are loaded on this page. The total page size is 253 KB. Let me show you a spreadsheet quickly. In the first column, we can see that the Divi themes HTML page size is 19.7 KB. CSS size is 1 KB and total page size is 134 KB. However, this method has an issue. By default, the Divi theme will remove all the unused CSS and the used CSS will be inlined in the HTML file size. To keep the comparison fair, I disabled the dynamic CSS feature so that the entire CSS will load when we test the page. That's because when we test the other themes or page builders, the unused CSS is not removed and the entire style sheets are loaded. Hence, I had to make this decision. Alright, as we can see, the HTML file size is 6.7 KB. 4 style sheets are loaded. The total CSS size is 96.5 KB and the total JS size is 109 KB. Divi is loading a font icon library, which is 39.1 KB. The total page size is 253 KB. Next is the Beaver Builder site. Let me refresh the page. The Beaver Builder site's HTML file size is 8.7 KB. This site is loading 3 style sheets and 4 JavaScript files. The total page size is 79.7 KB. Next is the GeneratePress site. Let me refresh the page. This page is loading 2 style sheets and 1 JavaScript file, and the total page size is 32.1 KB. Next is the Breakdance website. Let me refresh the page. The HTML file size on this website is 3.1 KB. 10 style sheets are loaded and the total CSS size is 22.6 KB. 2 JavaScript files are loaded and the total JavaScript file size is 22.5 KB. No fonts or font icon libraries are loaded. The total page size is 48.3 KB. Next is the Bricks Builder website. Let me refresh the page. Here, as we can see, 1 style sheet and 1 JavaScript file are loaded, and the total page size is 63.3 KB. Now let's look at the data. The Elementor page size is 108 KB. The Divi page size is 134 KB. But after we enabled the style sheets, the Divi page size increased to 253 KB. The Beaver Builder page size is 79.7 KB. The GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks page size is 32.1 KB. The Breakdance Builder page size is 48.2 KB. The Bricks Builder page size is 63.3 KB. Out of these 6 tools, Divi is the most bloated page builder, Elementor is second, and Beaver Builder is third. If you look at the most efficient and clean code page builders, they are the GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks, Breakdance Builder and Bricks Builder. The difference in page size between these tools is 10 KB or 15 KB, and it won't impact website performance a lot. Now you might wonder why I didn't include Beaver Builder. Beaver Builder HTML code is not clean. Let me show you what I mean. This is a Beaver Builder site. Let me right click on the button and click on Inspect. This is the button element, outer div. This is another div. Inside that there is another div. In simple words, the button is nested inside 3 divs. Now let's check the GeneratePress site. As we can see here, there is just one link tag, and this is how the clean code will look. Next, let's check the Breakdance site. Here is the button div and the link. The link is nested inside a div, and this is still a clean code. Now let's check the Bricks Builder site. As we can see here, there is just one link tag, and this is how the clean code will look. I hope now you understand how the clean code will look. I avoided Beaver Builder as it loads almost 4 times more code than Bricks Builder and GeneratePress. When more code is added to the page, rendering the page will take more time, which will impact the overall website performance. There are more reasons to avoid the bloated themes and page builders, and I won't get into the details as the video will become too long. As the Bricks Builder and Breakdance are well-coded themes and page builders, I created free courses for both. To join the course, visit wpms.com. Here, click the View Courses button. You will see the Pro Breakdance Builder course and the Pro Bricks Builder course. Each course contains 60 to 80 videos. If your website was created with a bloated theme or page builder, you can create it following these free courses. Very soon, I am creating a free GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks course as well. And once it's released, it will be listed here. Alright, back to the topic. Before we start optimizing the website, let me show you the theme and plugins that we have installed. Hover over Appearance and click on Themes. As we can see here, the Bricks Builder theme is installed and activated. Let me click the installed plugins. Here we see the installed plugins. I prefer to delete the plugins that are not required. Duplicate Page plugin is only needed when we want to duplicate a page or post. Next is the Spectra plugin. It's a Gutenberg add-on. I'm not using this plugin on this website. I prefer to delete all the unwanted plugins and themes. Let me select these two plugins. Click the drop-down, choose Delete and click Apply. Click OK to confirm the action. Both plugins have been deleted. We will use two testing tools to test website performance: Page Speed Insights and Browser. I prefer to use Google Chrome or Firefox when optimizing a website. Open a new tab. In the address bar, enter pagespeed.web.dev. Here we must paste the website URL and click on the Analyze button. Depending on the website's speed, it may take a few moments to analyze the page. Here are the results. Let me scroll down. The mobile score is 60. The first contentful paint takes 3 seconds to load. The total blocking time is 260 milliseconds. The page index is 5.7 seconds. The largest contentful paint takes 88.7 seconds to load. The CLS is 0.015. If we scroll down, we will see the list of issues that must be fixed. Now let's check the desktop performance. The desktop score is 60. The first contentful paint takes 0.7 seconds to load. The total blocking time is 220 milliseconds. The speed index is 2.9 seconds. The largest contentful paint takes 17.7 seconds to load, and the CLS is 0. If we scroll down here, we see more issues that must be fixed. And in this video, I will show you how to fix them in detail. First, let me copy the website address. I will show you how to test the website using browser dev tools. To test the website performance, we must open the website in an incognito window. To open a new incognito window, click the 3 dots and click on New Incognito Window. The shortcut key to open a new incognito window on Mac is Command Shift and N. On Windows, it is Control Shift and N. Here, paste the URL and hit Enter to load the website. Let me scroll down. As we can see, everything looks fine. Now right-click on the page and click on Inspect. We must select the Network tab. There are two ways to refresh the page without cache. After opening the DevTools, you can right-click the page refresh icon and you will see 3 options. There is a normal reload, a hard reload, and an empty cache and hard reload. We must choose empty cache and hard reload. This process takes time, so we can use a shortcut key. I prefer using the shortcut key as it saves time. Let me refresh the page. Now, as we can see, the elements on the page are still loading, and it took almost 23 seconds to load all the elements. In the bottom left corner of the page, we can see how many requests are made and the total page size. As we can see, 83 requests have been made, and the page size is 27.6 MB. We must keep a few tabs enabled here. The first one is the name. We must keep this enabled so that we can see the file names. The next tab is the status. If a file is loaded successfully, we will see the status 200. If there are errors, then we can see 404 or different values. Next is the domain. This is also important because we want to know where the request is coming from. If the request is loaded from our website, we will see our domain name. And if the request is made from a third-party website, such as YouTube or Google Fonts, we will see those domain names. Next is the type. Here we will see the file type. If the file is a style sheet, then we will see the style sheet. Next is the size. Here we can see the file size. Next is the time. Here we can see how long it took to load the file. And the priority. I will discuss more about priority at a later stage of the video. If you don't see any of these options, you must right-click here and you will see all the available options. You can enable the ones that are required. Under the All tab, you will see all the files loaded on this page. The next tab is the Fetch. In most cases, you won't see anything important and it's safe to ignore this tab. The next tab is the Doc. Here you will find the website's HTML file. This is the HTML file and it will be listed under the Doc tab. This is the YouTube file. If we select the CSS tab, we will see all the style sheets loaded on this page. If we click a file, we can see more information of the particular file, such as the complete file path, status code, and so on. To optimize a website, we must first understand what files are loading on the page and why we must load a particular file. If you look closer after the plugin, we will see WooCommerce, which means this file is part of the WooCommerce plugin. On the home page, we are not displaying WooCommerce products. The products are displayed on the product page. Hence, there is no need to load this particular style sheet on the home page. I will show you how to offload unwanted style sheets and JavaScript files in a moment. Now let me click the second file. Next to the themes, we see bricks, which means this file is part of the bricks theme. We shouldn't block this style sheet as this page is created using Bricks Builder. And to make the page look the way it is, we must load this style sheet. The next file name is WooCommerce CSS. From the file name, you can say it's part of the WooCommerce plugin. Again, as we are not displaying any products on the homepage, it is safe to offload this style sheet. The next file name is Font Awesome 6 Brands. Let me scroll down the page. Here we see 4 icons. This style sheet is loading because of these icons. Let me select the next style sheet. Again, this is a Font Awesome style sheet and I will select this file. It is Ion Icons, again a font icon library. These 3 style sheets are loading because of the 4 font icons we added to this page. In a moment, I will show you how to optimize the font icons so that we can eliminate these 3 style sheets. The next style sheet is loading from the Google server. We use Google Fonts on this website, hence this style sheet is loaded. I will show you how to host Google Fonts locally at a later stage of this video. The next style sheet is Bricks Compatibility CSS. Next to the plugins, we see Cart Flows. We have installed the Cart Flows plugin on this website, hence we see this style sheet. Cart Flows is required only on the checkout page and used for the post-checkout upsell process. There is no need to load this style sheet on the home page. We can block this style sheet as well. The next style sheet is WC Blocks CSS. Next to the plugins, we can see WooCommerce, which means this style sheet is part of the WooCommerce plugin. It is safe to offload this style sheet as well. The next style sheet is loaded from the YouTube server. Unfortunately, we cannot block this style sheet, but I will show you how to load this style sheet on user interaction, which will improve the page speed and user performance. If you look at the 10 style sheets loaded on this page, we can offload 9 as they are not required. The only style sheet that we must load on this page is the front end min CSS, as it's required for the displaying most of the elements on this page and on the entire website. Next, let me click the JS tab. Here the first request is jQuery. This file is required for the website to function correctly. If you can't see the complete file name, you can hold and drag it to the right to see the complete file name. jQuery and jQuery migrate are required for the website to function correctly. The bricks min.js file is also required as it's part of the bricks theme. And next is the WooCommerce file, which is also part of the bricks theme. But as we are not using WooCommerce on this page, it is safe to offload this request. Next is the source buster. This file is part of the WooCommerce plugin, so it's safe to offload this request. The next is order attribution, which is part of the WooCommerce plugin, and we can offload this request. The next file is the block UI, which is part of the WooCommerce plugin, and we can offload this request. Add to cart file. This is part of the WooCommerce plugin, and we can offload this file. JS cookie is part of the WooCommerce plugin and safe to offload. As we can see, most of the files loaded on this page aren't required and are safe to offload. When we offload such unwanted assets from loading, the page speed and user experience will improve. Let me scroll down. Most of these requests come from YouTube videos and the Tidio chat plugin. Now let me click the font tab. The first request is the Google font, which we are loading on the website. The next 4 font requests are the font icon libraries. And if you take a look at the sizes of these font icon libraries, they are huge: 157 KB, 27.5 KB, 118 KB, and 51 KB. If we combine these 4 font icon libraries, the total size is over 350 pixels, and I prefer to keep the entire page size to less than the total font icon library size. And now let's look at the other fonts. These 3 fonts are from YouTube video, and the last 2 fonts are loaded by the Tidio chat. I will show you how to host the fonts locally. If we can't block these fonts, at least we can load them during user interaction, which will improve page speed and user experience. Next, let me click the image tab. The first image is the website logo. The file size is 6.9 KB. The second image is 5.3 MB. Let me scroll up and show you the image. This is the image we are seeing here. The next image size is 5.1 MB. If you want to view the image, click the preview tab and you will be able to see the image. Let me scroll down. As we can see, this is the image loaded here. The next image is also the same image. I used the same image for all 3 tabs, so we are seeing that image again. Next is Understanding Core Web Vitals image. If we scroll down, we will see it here. It is a blog post image. Next is the page optimization, which you can see here. Pro Breakdance Builder and Pro Bricks Builder course images are displayed here. Other images are the testimonials and so on. I won't get into the details to keep the video short, and when we optimize you will understand better. Then let me click on the media tab. Here we see an MP3 file loaded by the Tidio chat plugin. We can delay this file and load it upon user interaction. Then let me click on the manifest, WS, WSM, and other tabs. Most of the time you won't find any important assets here. However, under the other tab you will find the favicon. Let me show you the favicon. If you look at the top left of the tab, you will see this icon. This is called a favicon. Now, to offload the assets, first we must install a plugin. In the search form, enter Asset Cleanup. Here is the plugin, Asset Cleanup Page Speed Booster. This plugin is installed on over 1 lakh websites and was last updated 2 weeks ago. Click on Install Now and activate the plugin. When it comes to offloading assets, we have two options: offloading them site-wide or on a particular page. In this video, I will show you how to offload assets on a specific page. Hover over Pages and click All Pages. Hover over the home page and click on Manage CSS and JS. I will open the page in a separate tab. Here we see all the assets loaded on this page. The first plugin is the Cart Flows. Since we are not using this plugin on the home page, we can unload it. To unload the plugin on the home page, we must enable this option. Next is the WooCommerce plugin. As we are not displaying products on the home page, unloading all the WooCommerce related style sheets and JS files is safe. Alright, we unloaded all the unwanted plugins from the home page. Next, we must unload the unwanted style sheets and JS loaded from the theme. These two style sheets are related to the Font Awesome icon library. Once we optimize the font icons, these style sheets will be offloaded. This is a Bricks front-end style sheet. It is used to style the website, so loading it is a must. This style sheet is related to the Font Awesome icon library. I will show you how to offload it later. This is the Bricks.js file, and loading it is essential for the website to function correctly. We can also offload this WooCommerce style sheet. 6 files are loading from the WordPress core. If you are a beginner, don't make any changes to the WordPress core files. Under external third party, we see 2 files, the Bricks CSS file and the Google Fonts file. I will show you how to remove unused CSS from the first file at a later stage of the video. Once we host the Google Fonts locally, this request will be gone. These are the inline codes. We must get the Asset Cleanup Pro paid plugin to offload these codes. For this video, let's stick to the free version. Let me update the changes. Now let's start optimizing the images. Before we optimize the images, you must understand the meaning of two terms: above the fold content and below the fold content. Whatever we see when the page initially loads is called above the fold content. In this case, from the top left to the bottom right, the content that we don't see when the page loads is known as below the fold content. I hope now you understand the difference between above the fold content and below the fold content. Now if I ask you which one is the LCP image, the largest contentful paint element, you will most likely say this is the LCP image, but you are wrong. The background image is the LCP image, as the background image is the largest element in this section. Let me right click on the page and click on Inspect. Click the Network tab and select the Image tab to see only the images. Refresh the page. Let's wait until all the images are loaded. This is the background image. The image is in PNG format and the file size is 5.3 MB. This is the process image. The image is in PNG format and the file size is 5.1 MB. Let me open these images in a new tab. Now we must convert these images into JPG format. Open a new tab and in the address bar enter Scoosh app. We will use this website to convert the image format and resize the images. Right click on image and copy the image. Click Paste to paste the image. Here click on Allow. As we can see, the image size is 4.53 MB. Toggle this button to view more options. Here the image width is 2400 pixels. Before reducing the image dimensions, we must check the required dimensions. Let me go to the home page, right click on the image and click Inspect. If we hover over this image link, we will see this pop-up. As we can see, the image rendered size is 631 pixels by 430 pixels. The actual image size is 2400 pixels by 1600 pixels. We must reduce the actual image size to the rendered image size. Let me go to the Squoosh website and here I will enter 631 pixels. Don't make any changes to the height as the maintain aspect ratio is enabled. Under the compress, if you click the drop down, you will see various image formats. This image has no transparent background, hence we can select the MOS JPEG format. As we can see, the image size dropped to 24.7 KB and the actual image size was 4.53 MB. The optimized image is almost 20 times smaller than the original size. Click this icon to download the image. You can give a name to the image and click the Save button and the image will be downloaded to your system. Next, I will copy this image. Then click on Paste to paste the new image. Then toggle on this button to resize the image. As we can see, the width of this image is 1998 pixels. Now let's check the actual image rendered size. If we hover over the image link, we will see this pop-up. As we can see, the rendered size is 456 pixels by 600 pixels. Here I will enter 460 pixels. As this image has a transparent background, I want the image to be in PNG format. Click the drop down and choose Browser PNG. And the image file size dropped to 384 KB and the original image size was 5.48 MB. Click this icon to download the image. Click the Save button and the image will be downloaded to your system. Go to the admin dashboard, hover over the home page and click on Edit with Bricks. I will open this page in a new tab. First, let me replace this image. Click on the Upload Files tab and upload the optimized image. Let me upload both images together. Now I will select this image and click on Insert. The chat widget is blocking the Insert button. I will deactivate this plugin for a moment and activate the plugin at a later stage. Choose this image and click the Insert Now button. I will also replace the process images. Now let me save the changes. Open the website in an incognito window. Refresh the page. Let me scroll up and see if there are any images that need to be optimized. Most of the image file sizes are small except this one particular image. To view the image, click the image file name and we can preview the image here. This is the background image we added to the hero section. Let me right click on the page and click on Inspect. Here is the background image. Click the image file to open it in a new tab. Now right click on the image and copy it. Paste the new image. As we can see, the image width is 5867 pixels. For the hero section image, the maximum width I set is 1400 pixels. If the image looks a bit blurry, we can add an overlay color and that will fix the issue. The original image was in PNG format and the file size was 14.3 MB. When we converted the image into JPEG format, the file size dropped to 45 KB. The image quality is set to 75%. I prefer to keep this at 80 or even 85. Now the image file size is 52 KB. I will download this image. Now let me replace the background image. Save the changes. Let me open the DevTools and refresh the page. As we can see, most of the image files are small, except this one hero section image. This image is in PNG format and the background is transparent. To reduce the image file size further, we must optimize the images. Note, here I want to mention an important point. There are two ways to optimize the images. One is installing an image optimization plugin and the other is CDN. Images optimized by the CDN will deliver better results. I will show the CDN method at a later stage of the video. You can choose the one that suits your requirements. Go to the WordPress admin dashboard. Search for Short Pixel. This is the plugin that we must install. I will click on Install Now and click on Activate. Here we must enter an API key. To generate an API key, click the checkbox and then click on the Continue button. The API key is generated. Let me close this pop-up. Click on Go to Bulk Processing and then click the Start Optimization button. Here we see the total number of images in the media library and the thumbnails generated. When we upload an image, WordPress generates thumbnails. There are 29 images and 110 thumbnails. If we want to reduce the image sizes further, we can enable the WebP format. WebP format supports both transparent and non-transparent images, which means we can convert both the JPEG and PNG formats into WebP format. Then click on Calculate. ShortPixel offers 100 credits. If you have more images, you can buy additional credits. Now click on Start Optimization. Depending on the number of images in the media library, it might take some time to optimize the images. Now the image optimization is complete and the image size is reduced by 59%. Next, let's start optimizing the fonts. Click the Fonts tab. First, let's optimize the font icon libraries and then optimize the fonts. Here we see 4 font icon libraries. These font icon libraries are loading because of the 4 font icons that we added here. Now let's optimize these font icons. Go back to Bricks editor. Click the font icon. Click the icon picker. Click the drop down and select SVG. Now we must upload the SVG icons that we want to display. I already uploaded all 4 icons. You can download the SVG icons from the website, such as Font Awesome, etc., and upload them to the media library. I will select this icon and click Insert. Now, in the same way, let me replace all 4 icons. Alright, we successfully replaced all 4 icons. I will save the changes. Open the website in an incognito window. Right-click on the page and click on Inspect. Click the Network tab. Here, the Font tab is already selected. I will refresh the page. All 4 font icon libraries we saw earlier are gone. That's because we uploaded custom SVG font icons instead of loading entire font icon libraries. Here we see 6 fonts. The first 4 are the Google fonts that we added to the website, and the last 2 are from the embedded YouTube video. Before optimizing the fonts, let me show you an interesting feature in the Dev tools. Click the 3 dots, hover over More Tools, and you will see the coverage option. Click on the coverage option. I will select the CSS tab and click this icon to refresh the page. Under the usage visualization, we see the bar chart. The bar chart contains 2 colors, red and gray. Red means unused code and gray means used code. Here we see 4 requests being loaded. The first one is a JavaScript file. There is no easy way to remove the unused code from the JS file. The next file is the style sheet. As we can see, 93.8% of the CSS in this style sheet is unused, which we can remove easily. The next request is coming from Google Fonts. 100% of the CSS is unused on this page. The last file is the HTML file. Here we can fix 2 things. Offload the Google Fonts style sheet and remove unused CSS from the style sheet. Now to optimize our website further, we must get a plugin. Open a new tab and enter wpmis.com/flyingpress. Now we are on the Flying Press website. I won't get into the features section as I will cover every feature in the video. Click the pricing. Here we see 4 plans. The first one is the starter plan. The starter plan costs $49 per year, and you can install the plugin on one website. Next is the Pro plan. This plan costs $99 per year and allows you to install Flying Press on 3 websites. Next is the Business plan. This plan costs $199 per year and allows you to install Flying Press on 25 websites. The last plan is the Unlimited plan. This plan will cost $249 per year and allows you to install Flying Press on unlimited websites. You can choose a plan based on your requirements. If you wish to install the plugin on one website, you can choose the Startup plan. To get the plugin, click the Buy Flying Press button. Here you must enter your email address, name, and billing address and make the payment. I already have a Flying Press plugin and I will use it for this tutorial. You can go ahead and make the purchase. Once you have purchased the plugin, download it and save it on your computer. Now we are in the WordPress admin dashboard. Click on the Add New Plugin button. Then click on the Upload Plugin button. Click on Choose File and we must select the Flying Press plugin file that we downloaded. Then click Open Now. Click on the Install Now button and click on the Activate button. Alright, we successfully installed the plugin. When you install the plugin, the license will be automatically activated. If you see a license key not activated message, you must go to the Flying Press dashboard. Copy the license key, paste it into the Flying Press settings area and save the changes. Click Flying Press to access the Flying Press dashboard. To host Google Fonts locally, click the Fonts tab and enable Optimize Google Fonts. Sometimes if the font files are big or if the server is slow to respond, the user will see a blank screen. This is known as a flash of invisible text. To avoid this issue, you must enable the Display Fallback Fonts option. All operating systems have default fonts. When the Display Fallback Fonts option is enabled, the browser will display the fonts available on the browser and swap the fonts once the fonts are downloaded. This will improve the user experience. Let me save the changes. Open the website in an incognito window and refresh the page. As we can see, all 4 fonts are now hosted on our server. If the fonts are hosted on our server, we see our domain name instead of the Google Fonts server domain name. Here we see 2 fonts and these are coming from the YouTube embedded video. I will show you how to fix these two font files in a moment. Now let's take a look at the Flying Press dashboard. If we click the dashboard, we see how many pages have been cached. On the right side, we will see the license information. Below that is the purge pages. If we click the purge pages button, the cache will be purged. Preload cache. When this button is clicked, Flying Press will regenerate the cache without deleting the existing cache. Purge pages and preload. If we want to delete the cached HTML pages and regenerate the cache, we must click this button. Purge everything and preload. If we click this button, the entire cache, including the static files, will be deleted and a new cache will be generated. Now let me click on the Cache tab. The first option is to cache logged in users. If you allow members to log into your website, such as in online stores, you can enable this option. When this option is enabled, a cache will be generated for the logged in users, improving the user experience. Automatically preload cache. If this option is enabled, the cache will be generated and preloaded every time you save the changes or the settings. Smart link preloading. When you hover over a link or a button, the relevant HTML file will be preloaded. When you click the link or the button, the page will load instantly, which improves the user experience. Next is a scheduled preload. By default, the scheduled preload will be set to never. If your website is a news website or an online store where you keep updating content at short intervals, you can choose a shorter period. For example, if you choose 2 hours, then every 2 hours, the cache will be deleted and regenerated. For most websites, you can leave it to never. Let me save the changes. Next is CSS. The first option is Minify CSS. If we enable this option, all the empty spaces and comments in the style sheet will be removed, which will reduce the style sheet size. The next option is Remove Unused CSS. We see 3 options under the Load Unused CSS: Asynchronously, On User Interaction, and Remove. When asynchronously is selected, Flying Press will generate the critical CSS and add it to the head section. The style sheets will load with the defer attribute. If a particular style sheet is causing issues, we must enter the style sheet URL to exclude it from optimization. And if a CSS selector is causing issues, we must add the appropriate ID or class name here to exclude it from the optimization. The next option is On User Interaction. When this option is selected, Flying Press will add the critical CSS into the head section and the style sheets will load on user interaction. The last option is the Remove option. When this option is selected, Flying Press will remove all the unused CSS from the website, which will improve the overall performance of the website. Here you will see a warning message that you are removing CSS may not be compatible on all sites. Disable if you are experiencing issues. I have optimized over 100 websites using the Flying Press plugin, and in most cases I didn't face any issues. When the Remove Unused CSS is enabled, if it breaks your website design, you can exclude a particular style sheet from the optimization or add the required ID and class here to exclude them from the optimization. You can turn off this option and contact Flying Press support if you encounter any issues. The support team will help you fix the issue. The next tab is JavaScript. Here the first option is Minify JavaScript. When this option is enabled, all the empty spaces and comments will be removed from the JavaScript files. The next option is Defer JavaScript. By default, JavaScript is a render blocking asset that impacts website performance. To fix the render blocking issue, we must enable the Defer JavaScript option. When this option is enabled, JavaScript files will load with the defer attribute and no longer be render blocking. After enabling the Defer JavaScript option, if you encounter any issues on your website, You can add the problem causing JavaScript file name here to exclude it from the defer. The next option is the delay JavaScript. Here we see two options, delay selected and delay all. If we choose delay selected, whatever file names or domain names we add here will be delayed. If we select delay all, Flying Press will delay all the JavaScript files and external requests. If we want to load a JavaScript file or an external request without delay, we must add the JavaScript file name or external domain name. Let me save the changes. The next option is the fonts. We have already covered optimizing Google Fonts and displaying fallback fonts. Sometimes if we load complex font styles, such as this font style, displaying the fallback fonts alone won't be sufficient and it might cause CLS issues. To address such issues, we must preload the fonts. To preload a font, you must copy and paste the font file name here. The next tab is the images. Here the first option that we see is the lazy load images. When we enable this option, new options will appear. Exclude the above fold images and exclude images. By default, exclude above file images will be set to 2. If the value is set to 2, the logo and the first image in the initial viewport will be excluded from the lazy load. The images excluded from the lazy load will load with the highest priority. If we want to exclude more images, we can change the number values here or add the image file name or the image URL. You must enter one image detail per line. The next option is add responsive images. When this option is enabled, the original image size will be resized to the render size. Suppose the image width is 1200 pixels and the render size is 400 pixels. When this option is enabled, the image will be resized to 400 pixels. I recommend enabling this option as it will improve the user experience and the page speed. The next option is add missing width and height. When you test your website using page speed insights, you will most likely see this warning. Image elements do not have explicit width and height. To address this issue, we must assign width and height values to the images. When this option is enabled, width and height values will be added to the images. The next option is to host Gravatar images locally. When this option is enabled, the Gravatar images will be loaded and stored on our server, which will help reduce the number of requests made to the external domain. I will demonstrate this feature in a moment so that you can understand it better. The next option is preload critical images. When we enable this option, the images loaded in the above the fold content area will be preloaded, including the logo, featured images, and all other images that are part of the above the fold content area. Let me save the changes. Let me purge the cache and open the website in an incognito window. I will right-click on the page and click on Inspect. Now the background image we see here is part of the above the fold content area, but there is a problem with this background image, and let me explain it to you. If we select this section, we see the background image in the CSS area, as this image is part of the CSS. For this image to appear, first, the CSS code should be downloaded and rendered. Once the CSS is rendered, this image will download and appear on the front end. This process takes time, which will negatively impact the largest contentful paint metrics. The largest contentful paint is one of the core web vital metrics. Slow loading images will result in a poor user experience. When we enable the preload critical images option, this image won't preload because this image is part of the CSS and not a DOM element. So in order to preload this image, instead of adding it as a background image, we must add an image element and assign our image to the image element. Now let's look at this image. Let me right click on it. As we can see, this image is added using an image element. It is part of the DOM and the image fetch priority is set to high. As this image is part of the DOM, we will be able to preload it. Let me go to the bricks editor and refresh the page. I will select the section. I will remove the background image and the overlay color. Let me expand the section and add an image element. The image element should be inside the section and outside the container. Then select the section, click the layout, and under the positioning, we see the position option. Click the drop down and change the position to relative. Then scroll down and we will see the overflow option. Here we must enter hidden. Here is the isolation. Click the drop down and choose isolate. Now let me select the image element. First I will assign an image to this element. I will select the background image and click on insert. Now we see the image is displayed correctly. Next, click the style tab and scroll down. We must set the image width and height to 100%. Then change the position to absolute. Now as we can see, the image is in the front and the other elements are hidden. Apart from that, there is a gap at the top and we must fix this. Here, add 0 to the top, right, bottom and left. As we can see now, the background image is in the front and the content is hidden behind this image. To fix this issue, we must add a z-index value. Here is the z-index option. Enter -1. And as we can see now, the background image is placed correctly and the content is in the front. Next, click the content tab. As we can see, the image size is set to large, 1024 pixels, and the actual image size is 1400 pixels. I prefer to display the full size image. Now the image width is changed to 1400 pixels. Next to the HTML tag, click the drop down and choose figure. Scroll down and change the object fit to cover. Next, let me add the overlay color to the image. Now save the changes. Let me go to the front end and refresh the page. Now if we right click on the page, as you can see, we see the options related to the particular image and not the section. Now I will click inspect. As we can see, now the image is part of the DOM. Here we can see the image is loading with the lazy attribute and the fetch priority is set to low. As this is the largest contentful paint, we should not lazy load this image. Let me go to the WordPress admin dashboard. Here we see two options. Under the exclude above fold images, we can change the number from 2 to 3, or we can add the image name to exclude it from lazy load. For this example, I will show you how to exclude an image from lazy load by adding the image name, so that in the future, if you want to exclude an image, you will know how to do it. Let me go to the front end and double click on the image file path. Let me copy the image name. Go to the Flying Press dashboard and paste the image name here. Then save the changes and purge the cache. Now let me go to the front end and refresh the page. As we can see, the image loading attribute is changed to eager and the fetch priority is set to high. Now we are able to preload the image because the image is part of the DOM and not the CSS like before. The next option is the iframe. The first option is lazy loading iframes. If we enable this option, iframes will be lazy loaded. I will enable this option as we have added a YouTube video on the home page. The next option is use placeholder images for the YouTube videos. If we enable this option, the YouTube thumbnail image will be displayed instead of loading the YouTube iframe. The YouTube video will load when someone clicks the thumbnail image. Let me save the changes. The next option is the CDN. Flying CDN is developed by the Flying Press team. Flying CDN costs $5 per month. I will discuss the features and show you how to set it up in a moment. The next option is Bloat. Flying Press is the only cache plugin that offers these options. Here we can turn off the bloat that we don't want to load on the website. The first option is remove Google Fonts. If you don't want to use Google Fonts on your website, you can enable this option. Next is the disable WooCommerce cart fragments. If we enable this option, WooCommerce fragments won't load on non-WooCommerce pages. Next is disable WooCommerce assets. If we enable this option, WooCommerce style sheets and scripts won't load on non-WooCommerce pages. Next is disable XML and RPC. Some themes and plugins such as Elementor and Contact Form 7 use this feature. Before disabling this option, make sure the theme and plugins don't use this feature. You can enable this option based on the theme and plugins you are using on your website. Disable RSS feed. I prefer to enable this option as the RSS feed will consume a decent amount of server resources and generate external requests. Next, disable the block editor CSS. This website is built using Bricks Builder. Hence, there is no point in loading block editor CSS. Next is the disable embeds. At times, other sites might use the assets from your website. For example, if someone copies the image URL from your website and pastes it on their website will display the image, but it will be loaded from our server. Basically, someone else will use the assets loaded on your website, and you will pay for their bandwidth usage. We don't want to pay for someone else's bandwidth usage, so I will enable this option. Disable emojis. WordPress will load an emoji file. Most browsers will display emojis without this file, so it is safe to disable emojis. The next option is disable WP cron. Before enabling this option, you must set up an external cron job. I don't recommend it for beginners. Disable jQuery migrates. I don't recommend enabling this option as your theme or some plugins might need this file to work properly. Disable dash icons. The icons you see in the WordPress dashboard are known as dash icons, and it is safe to disable them. Control post revisions. WordPress will save drafts at frequent intervals, and every time you save the changes, which will increase the database size over time. On my websites, I disable the revisions. If you want to save revisions, you can limit the number of revisions stored in the database. I don't recommend saving more than 3 revisions. I will set it to 3. Next is control heartbeat. Don't make any changes to these settings as the default settings are fine. Let me save the changes. Next is the database. Flying Press will clean the database if we enable the option. Enable all the options you see here and save the changes. The next is how frequently we want Flying Press to clean the database. I prefer to set it to monthly. If you add too many posts regularly, you can choose the weekly option. Let me save the changes. Next is advanced. The first option is exclude pages from caching. If we want to exclude any particular page from caching, we can add the URL here. The other options are ignore query parameters, include query parameters, and bypass cookies. If you are using ads to generate traffic, etc., you will use these features. Next is host third-party CSS and JS locally. If we enable this option, Flying Press will host the third-party CSS and JS files locally on your server. This improves the website's performance and it is safe to enable this option. If you face any issues after enabling this option, you can disable it and contact Flying Press support and they will set it up. The next option is lazy render elements. If we want to lazy render HTML elements, we must add the element ID or classes here. Let me show you an example. This blog post has 521 comments. I will copy the blog post URL and perform a page speed insights test. As we can see, the mobile score is 88 and the desktop score is 99. The mobile score is low, so let's consider that number for the demonstration purpose. Now let me right click on this comment section and click on inspect. This is the comment element. I will double click the ID name and copy it. In the Flying Press dashboard, enter a hashtag or a pound symbol. To add an ID, we use the pound symbol, and to add a class, we use the period symbol. Paste the ID name and save the changes. Let me purge the cache. Now I will perform another page speed insights test. As we can see, the mobile score went from 88 to 99 and the desktop score went from 99 to 100. The icons that we see here are called gravatars. These icons will load from the gravatars website. If we enable this option in the Flying Press dashboard, gravatar images will be stored on our server. This will reduce the number of external requests made from our website, which will improve the website's performance. Let me save the changes and purge the cache. Alright, we have fixed plenty of things. Now let's see the results. Before we started the optimization, the mobile and desktop score were 60. Now let me perform a new test. Alright my friends, here are the results and they look impressive. The mobile score is 99 and the desktop score is 100. Looking at these results, you might think we have fixed everything, but we still haven't fixed an important issue. When the website's performance is tested from one location, we see these results. But if we check the performance from different locations, the performance will be different. Let me prove it to you. Let me copy the URL. Open a new tab and enter tools.keycdn.com. Click Performance Test. This tool will test the performance from 8 locations. Paste the URL and click Test. Here are the results from 8 locations: Frankfurt, Amsterdam, London, New York, San Francisco, Singapore, Sydney, and Bangalore. The fastest TTFB among the 8 locations is New York. If you test your website, the TTFB duration might be over 1 second. If you get a lot of traffic from high TTFB locations, your website won't pass Core Web Vitals and you will have a poor user experience. To address this issue, we must add a CDN. Open a new tab and enter flyingcdn.com. We are now on the Flying CDN website. Flying CDN is powered by Cloudflare's Enterprise plan. If we get the Cloudflare Enterprise plan from Cloudflare, we will pay $20 per month. However, with the Flying CDN, we get the same features for $5 per month. Let's talk about the benefits of adding a CDN. Edge page caching. When entire pages are cached at the edge, the content will be delivered to visitors quickly from the nearest locations. Handle traffic spikes. If your website gets huge amount of traffic, the content will be served from the edge, which reduces the load on the server. Image compression. No need to install an image optimization plugin to optimize images. Flying CDN will optimize images. And the good thing is you can optimize an unlimited number of images at no cost. WebP conversion. Flying CDN will convert images to WebP format at no extra cost. If you use ShortPixel to convert the image to WebP format, you must pay for each conversion. 310 edge locations. Flying CDN is the only CDN that has over 310 edge locations in 120 plus countries. More edge locations will help deliver content quickly and reliably. Less than 50 milliseconds TTFB worldwide, as Flying CDN has over 310 edge locations and cache the pages on edge. Flying CDN can deliver content quickly. Wildcard SSL certificate. You can install a free SSL certificate on your website's primary and subdomains. DDoS protection and firewall. Flying CDN will add an extra layer of security to protect your website from DDoS attacks and malicious traffic with a built-in firewall, which means your website will be more secure. Browser caching. When static assets are cached in the browser, the server load will be reduced and improves the page load times. WooCommerce optimized. Deliver cached pages even with items in the cart. This is an outstanding feature that will improve the WooCommerce website's overall performance. Cache logged in users. On most websites, logged in users will view an uncached version of the content, which will increase the server load and negatively impact user experience. Flying CDN will deliver cached pages to logged in users, which will improve website's performance and user experience. Optimized for cache hit ratio. Flying CDN will automatically ignore unnecessary cookies and query strings, which will increase the cache hit ratio. There are plenty of more features that aren't listed here, and it will take an hour to explain everything. To keep the video short, I don't get into more details. Click on Get Started. Here, enter your email address and click on the Send Login button. You will receive an email with the login link. If we click the link in the email, we will be logged into the Flying CDN website. I will copy and paste the login link. I'm using a different browser for email and recording. Now we are logged into the Flying CDN website. First, we must click the Add New Site button. Here, enter the domain name. When you add the domain name, remove the slash and HTTP. It should be just the domain name and the domain extension. In this case, it is wpmis.site. In your case, it should be your website.com. Here we must add the server IP address. If you use shared hosting, you will find the server IP address in your cPanel, or if you contact hosting support, they will provide it. After adding the server IP address, click the Add Site button. Here we see the initializing badge. If you receive a payment email like this form, the Flying CDN, you must click the link and make the payment. After making the payment, the badge will change to pending validation. To complete the validation, we must update the DNS records. Here, click on the View DNS Records button. We will see two records, CNAME record and an A record. Let me copy the CNAME record. Then go to the domain registrar website. I'm using Cloudflare, and you might be using Cloudflare or some other domain registrar. Now we are in the DNS management area. Here we must click the Add a New Record button. Under the type, click the drop-down and choose CNAME. Here we must paste the record that we copied. Then go back to the Flying CDN website. This time you must copy the record value and paste it here. You must turn off the proxy and click on the Save button. When I linked the domain, I had already added a record. In this case, we will edit the existing record. I will go to the Flying CDN website and copy the record. Here, click the Edit button and replace the IP address. Turn off the proxy and click the Save button. Now we see the active badge. There is still one more pending step. Go to the Flying Press dashboard. Here, click on CDN and enable the CDN. If you are using a CDN other than Flying CDN, you must add the URL here. As we are using Flying CDN, we must click the Flying CDN button. Here we must add the API key. Go to the Flying CDN website and click the Copy API key button. Go to the Flying Press dashboard and paste the API key here. Save changes. Now we have successfully integrated the Flying CDN. Before optimizing the test, let me enable the TDO chat plugin, as we don't want to remove an important feature when checking the website's performance. Let me purge the cache. Now let's perform another test. Here we see poor results because Flying CDN generates the cached files when someone visits the website for the first time. If you visit the website once using a different browser, that is sufficient to generate cache for all users. Let me perform another test. As we can see, the TTFB for 7 out of 8 locations is less than 100 milliseconds. Only the Bangalore TTFB is 112 milliseconds. You will see similar results once you enable Flying CDN on your website. Before ending the video, let's perform another page speed insights test and check the page size. Before optimization, the page speed insights mobile score and desktop score was 60. After optimization, the mobile and desktop score is 100. Before we started the optimization, the page size was 27.6 KB. Now I opened the website in an incognito window. Let me clear the cache and force reload the page. And after optimization, the page size is 320 KB, almost 1% of the pre-optimization total page size. 17 requests are loaded and the total page size is 320 KB. If you achieved similar results after watching this video, please leave a comment below the video, which will motivate others. If your website is slow and you are not sure how to fix the issues, visit wpmaze.com. Scroll down and click on the Audit button. Here fill out the form with the required details, and we will perform a detailed audit of your website and help you improve the website speed. You can also join the WPMS community and post your queries, and I will be happy to assist you. If you want to hire me to speed up your website, visit icarewp.com and submit the required details, and I will be happy to speed up your website. If you liked the video, click the like button and leave a comment below. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please click the subscribe button and enable all notifications so that you will be the first one to get notified whenever I post a video.